Today, I will talk about the project that I'm working on as the Design Trust Curatorial Fellow at the Royal College of Art. The development of my project was unfortunately a bit delayed by the pandemic early this year in the UK and Hong Kong. So I'll focus more on the concept and methodology that have found the base of my project and talk a little bit more about the piloting phase of my digital co-creation model that is happening in this month. My project intertwined three main subjects: design culture, local memories, and digital engagement. It's an attempt to fill up the gap between museum design collection and local memories. My research examined how design objects used or made by the local contribute to cultural identity and social memories. Is to recognize those objects as a crucial part of contemporary cultural heritage. It also underlines the intimacy of ordinary design objects such as a cup, a chair, or working uniform with local culture and identity. My research question includes how can the creator connect the everyday experience of the museum audience with contemporary design objects? What are the curatorial elements critical for the local communities to reflect on when they're in a contemporary design exhibition or when they're seeing a contemporary design collection online? To answer this question, I'm trying to explore the potential of online 3D platform as a means to form and co-create digital collections with local communities. I want to see in what ways creators can use online platforms such as Mozilla Hubs to co-create local design collection. This idea actually came from my previous research on the rapid response collecting approach used by some of the art museums. Based on my research, there was a lack of curatorial exchange with the local communities. This results in a collection that is not entirely capturing the memories of the local audience. So with my current project, I'm developing this model that hopefully will help creators engage communities members in the process of collecting. Additionally, I wish this model can demonstrate to local communities that the everyday design objects that they have are connected to their local memories. So is it important to collect this object in order to preserve their social cultural heritage? With the limited time of my fellowship, I decided to work with only one community, but in two separate cities, London and Hong Kong. So during the piloting phase, I will use a digital platform to collect and co-create a contemporary design collection that can represent the social memories of this community, this one community in these two cities. To narrow my scope further down, I'm looking only into the cafe communities in London and Hong Kong because I think the social and cultural importance of cafe is often being overlooked. In Europe, of course, going to a cafe, the cafe culture is part of their everyday life over the last 3 centuries. In Hong Kong as well, the Hong Kong style restaurant or coffee house called Cha Chan Tang have been shaping fast-paced lifestyle of the last two generations in the city. So the importance of cafe is actually tightly tied to the idea of third place. Cafe is one kind of third place in the cities because cafe is often the place where people will gather around, will enjoy their company with their friends and family, or to have a quiet moment, what we call the me time, when when people are in different cities. So actually, cafe is one of the very key component that is shaping the lifestyle in both London and Hong Kong. So to look at, apart from like looking into the cafe communities, I also want to bring up a little bit about um, the existing platform that might support audience to create their own collection. So in response to the COVID pandemic, of course, is a there was a major shift of museum engagement programs from the physical form to the digital one. But for example, like you can see here, we have the Europeana and the Risk Museum Studio, which the two example, I found that they are a kind of official platform that allowed different kind of audience. They will go to visit the website and they can select objects that you think it would be interesting to put together as an engagement with the museum collections. But this kind of digital community engagement is still very much focused on online navigation, selection, and discussion about the object already exists in the museum collection. So it's not a way to ask audience to suggest, or the audience will have a say on what the museum should collect. This is another example that I want to talk about because this is also one of the example that how digital engagement is developing or has been developed over the pandemic. So this is Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery photo tour. So in this photo tour, of course, as the audience, you can navigate throughout the whole museum space. They have used a 360 camera to scan. So it's kind of interactive, but at the same time, as what I showed you before, it's still quite limited in the sense that the audience cannot have a say on what they want to see in a museum, and whether it's a digital version of the museum or our actual existing physical museum. This is one more example that I will talk about because this new art city is also a kind of virtual art space which provides toolkits for new media artists and creators to host digital exhibition. So you can see like there are different programs, but at the same time you can see how people can navigate into the virtual reality space and also what you will see when you are in the space here. And they have chat function. You can make conversation with other people in the space, and you can also, when there are multiple visitors to the space, you can see them like navigating around. You can observe how the other visitors of the exhibitions are using the space. But of course, this the downside of this virtual reality platform is that it doesn't allow the participant or the visitor of the exhibition to share the objects, which is why I select Mozilla Hubs. Mozilla Hubs is a platform that supports simultaneous navigation, live audio conversation, and uploading of multi-dimensional objects or multimedia materials. I have some experience with Hubs before as a creative producer of a project helping indigenous community to digitize their village and cultural objects and also to build their own digital museum. So this approach of using Hubs as a free of charge digital space of navigation accounts for quite a majority of the user actually. So quite a lot of the user of Hubs actually using it like what I just showed you in the new art city. They're just navigating space. Um, However, they don't really use the uploading feature that much, which enable the visitors of the space to upload objects that they think related to the theme of the exhibition. So in my project, the difference is exactly at this point. I'm trying to explore the potential of hubs to a fuller extent with the function that helps allow visitors to upload digital objects such as video, images, 3D models, or audio clips to the space whenever they visit the space. Um, this empower the visitor to actually use different kind of media to contribute to the exhibitions. So all they have to do is basically like what I'm trying to show you here is you click on the 3D model, you upload it, and then you pin it to the space that you're visiting. And then afterwards, even if the visitor has left the space, left the hubs room, what we call, the host of of the exhibition or of the space will still be able to see what they have shared and what they have found related to the exhibition. So in my project, I'm asking my participants to upload audio clips, videos, images, or 3D models of the objects that they found important to their social memories related to to the cafe. This model is very simple. My model is very simple. Basically, I will have interview with the project participant first, partly to understand more about their background, their relationship with cafe, and then I will introduce them to the basics of hubs before I share the link to access the project hub space, and they will be free to upload as many digital design objects that they found relevant to their memories about the local cafe culture as they want. They also encourage, of course, to upload audio or video clips to the space and talk about the experience or memory related to the memories to the other upload materials, such as photos or 3D model. And after looking at the objects upload, I will send some follow-up question to the participant or have an other interview with them to ask for further details about the objects they upload or to ask them more about the experience of participating in such a project that allowed basically the general audience to have a say to talk about what they want by using objects. So to test out this model, I'm in the piloting stage. As I talked about earlier, the community I'm working with is the cafe community, one in London, one in Hong Kong. And because of the limited time, of course, I cannot visit all the cafes in London. There are loads of them. So what I would do, I would focus on Hackney in London and also Samshupo in Hong Kong. And the people I'm inviting to participate in my project at this stage or for this limited time project at the moment is they would be the cafe owners or managers who are running the cafe. Why I want to work with the cafe community in Hackney is mainly because over the last decades, the area has been experiencing substantial gentrification, and the rising numbers of cafes around the area is actually being regarded as one of the signs showing uh, the speed of the gentrification. But I also think the existence of cafes, as I said at the beginning of my presentation, I think the social or cultural importance of this cafe as a first place for people in the area to mingle, to socialize, or even having some of their personal time. So that's why I want to interview the cafe owners or manager and ask them what they think or how the cafes has been a main contributor to the production of different local social memories related to the area. I'm particularly interested in working with the so-called indie cafes because I think such as this I'm showing you here because I think that this kind of cafes they are more personal. They are run by maybe a very small team or in partnership of two people or even owned by only one single person who's running a cafe every day. So the intimacy of the owners or the manager with the space is stronger, and the relationship they might have with the local uh, area and also the local cafe visitors are stronger as well. So I think it will be they can contribute even more on what kind of social cultural memories the local might have with their cafe. So another area I'm looking at is in Hong Kong called Samshupo. Similar to Hackney, it also experienced quite a lot of gentrifications recently. The left one is the old style, what we call Tang in Hong Kong, which is the one that is more about fast-paced living. People get in and have coffee in like 5 minutes or just grab a lunch for 10 minutes and then they will go. But sometimes it will also be a place that people want to hang out. And the middle one is just one of the sign to show you how cafe has been evolving. The cafe culture has been evolving in the city because this is one of the Starbucks in Hong Kong and one of the most um, expensive area in the city as well. So you can see it start having a little bit of a glamour, but it also lost. It also doesn't have any of the local features or local cultural characteristic in it. So what I'm focusing on in my project is some kind of uh, also a kind of what people call indie cafe like this on the right, which includes local design culture. Actually, there's also a kind of architecture element in its design. So I really want to talk to the cafe owners or manager about how they design their shop in this way and how they think this is related to the local cultural memories. The qualitative data collected from the interviews with the cafe owners or manager and the digital objects gathered from the runners of these cafes will definitely help me to review to what extent cafe culture is changing in this two city, but also about how digital platform like Mozilla Hubs can make museum and curatorial practices more transparent and interactive for the audience. My research process will test if a digital platform like Hubs can empower the public audience, even if they are not familiar with the arts and cultural industry, and to really see that if this kind of platform can help museum to engage into the collection decision making process. I mean, to engage the public audience into the collection decision making process. These are all I would like to share today. I'm looking forward to share more in the panel after I get more data from my project participant. I'm now conducting several interviews with different cafes in London, and then later of the month I will do it in Hong Kong. So I'm looking forward to share more data with you in the platform. Thank you.